Well, very common is miracles of healing, like anywhere in church history, but it's not particularly in church services like we have healing conferences. It's when they're out evangelizing. And sometimes it happens to non-Christians. And they've had people raised from the dead that were not even Christians, which doesn't make sense to us. But of course, when they were raised from the dead, I know a communist that raised from the dead. His wife prayed for him, and he actually left his body, and he saw, the doctors, and they signed the death certificate, and he came back into his body a few hours later, and he told everything that happened in the hospital. And he was a communist until then. Then he became a Christian. In fact, he worked with me and taking Bibles to China, and God gave him 10 more years, and then he just passed away in his sleep 10 years after that. But, those kind of things happen.
Oh, first thing I want to say is the people that get raised from the dead, the people that raise people from the dead are always our bush pastors. They're the most humble people hidden in the dirt that you'll never see or hear about. I only prayed for one person that got up, and there were like 50 people with me. I don't even think it counts. But the people that are raised from the dead, it's actually over 80 now. They're all been prayed for by the poorest of the poor. People who have no electricity, no water, no education, just in the bush people.
What draws them to pray to raise them from the dead? Is it they want to...
The families bring the dead to the church for prayer. That they would either pray for them in burial, and a lot of them stay dead. I mean, it's not everyone that gets up by any stretch of the imagination, but many of them do. And the word gets out, so if a child dies, they bring them to these pastors, these hidden bush pastors that just have major faith, and they pray until they get up. Sometimes 3 days, and they don't eat or drink, they just pray.
So they'll be dead for like 3 days?
Sometimes 3 days, sometimes an hour.
Well, I've heard probably about 6 or so. One brother was electrocuted, raised from the dead. I've heard about 3 children, and one old lady, she died in the church in a meeting. They put her body to the side, and they went on with the service for 2 hours, and she came to life after 2 hours, And one lady actually was dead for 3 days, and we had the pictures of it because it's in the village. When they die, they would, in the old Chinese custom, they would burn incense on their body. They would keep the body in the front room of the house for a couple of days. And so they burn incense on the top of the forehead and on the hands. And when she raised from the dead, the scars were still there, to prove it. And so I've heard of several. It's not like it happens every day, but it does happen. No, it's actually not the pastors at all. They probably are not efficient at healing. It's the young people, the children, the old women, people that just have simple faith. Like I know of a woman that her son died accident or something, and she said, no, he can't be dead. I gave him to the Lord to be a preacher, and she prayed for 2 or 3 days, and he came to life again. I mean, the pastor would never, go and bury the guy, but it's just simple faith by simple people.